A lot of people think that selling t-shirts in the year 2025 is the best way to make money on a print-on-demand store, but that's false. I started print-on-demand in 2016, and that's exactly what this Google trend is showing. Interest in print-on-demand since 2016, and you can see that interest is at an all-time high. And honestly, most people are selling t-shirts on their print-on-demand store. In fact, it's gotten so competitive that I'm sure at some point you've heard it recommended that it is actually a good idea to choose a low competition niche. People are actually saying that it has gotten so competitive that in order for you to stand out, it would be best for you to choose a low competition niche. And that is the t-shirt trap. In today's video, we're going to talk about how I have escaped the t-shirt trap and made sustainable sales selling high profit and unique print-on-demand items. How I've been able to do this while still selling in some of the best niches as well. And if you're just getting started, I do have a free course. It's called POD for Dummies. Inside are over 30 videos showing you how to sell high profit print-on-demand products on Shopify and how to use social media to make your sales. And like I said, it is completely free. There's a link down in the description. And here are some examples of what I call the t-shirt trap. First, we have a t-shirt. It is inside of like the backyard chicken niche. We also have a golf niche t-shirt right here. And lastly, we have a zodiac niche shirt. It's likely that all three of these niches would be something that most of you would consider to be high competition. Some of you would even call these saturated niches. And if you're following a lot of the advice that's out there around print on demand, what you would actually do is avoid these niches and choose something that is low competition. Essentially, this low competition niche concept that we are talking about. To me, that is the t-shirt trap, because a low competition niche is probably something that is just not a good niche. That is why it is low competition. It probably does not have a lot of demand, there probably is not a lot of money to be made, and there's probably not a lot of long-term potential. That is why it is a low competition niche. Now, as print-on-demand sellers, the niche is the most important part. That is the part that we do not want to compromise on. So choosing a low competition niche is a horrible idea, and that is the t-shirt trap. What about instead of selling shirts to these niches here, we just instead chose a low competition product? Essentially, instead of selling a backyard chicken t-shirt, we offered print-on-demand shoes like these here. Or instead of selling t-shirts for the golf niche, we instead switched to some sort of wall art like this, or even doormats like this here for the same niche. Or instead of selling zodiac themed t-shirts, we instead sold woven blankets like this store is doing right here for lots of different zodiac signs. Essentially, we can just pivot to a lower competition product and still sell to an amazing niche. If we wanted to sell shirts, the recommendation would be to choose a low competition niche instead. Now, the t-shirt trap is something I have talked about before here on the channel, and it's really three things. The first, like I said, is having to choose a low competition niche to actually stand out with your print-on-demand store. If you're selling shirts just like everybody else in your niche, no wonder you are not able to get any traction, because there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of others out there doing the same thing as you. The second part of the t-shirt trap is settling for hardly any profits at all. And I know some of you might not have a problem with making $5, $6, or $7 per sale with your print-on-demand store, but to me, there are just too many other products out there that make double, triple, 5 times, or even 10 times that profit that I would rather spend my time on. And thirdly, you put yourself in a position where you are just constantly chasing down repeat buyers to actually be profitable with your store, which is something that I will break down as we continue to go through the video today. With these examples here, we still got to sell in some really amazing niches that have the potential to make a lot of sales, but we did not have to compromise with anything else. We were able to actually still build a cool store by choosing low competition items. And honestly, in some niches, pivoting away from shirts can actually lead to more sales. I have said before that not every niche actually makes sense for shirts. A lot of times, some niches end up kind of just being corny or silly. Take video game shirts, for example, or shirts for teachers, or or shirts for nurses, or even people that like to bake cupcakes. You don't need to build an entire print-on-demand store offering silly t-shirts for those types of niches. Instead of offering shirts for teachers, what about making shoes like these here for lots of different subjects that teachers teach? Maybe some sort of a biology or science class one here, maybe a librarian type of teacher, or a math teacher, as you can see with this design here, maybe a geography teacher, or even, just teacher in general, right? The list goes on and on and on. What I'm trying to say is by choosing a cooler product, you can actually sell to your niche in a much cooler way. And in my experience, that actually leads to more sales. And my hope is that some of you will see what I am trying to say. I'm not just bashing shirts. What I am trying to say though is that with your print-on-demand store, you can actually open up completely different realms of selling to your niche by simply choosing other print-on-demand products. Another thing is profits. Take a look at these blankets here inside of the Zodiac niche. This store is selling them for $109 each. Now, if we scroll up to the top, we can see that they have over 1,500 reviews. If you actually scroll down and went to the reviews, you would see that this store is actually receiving lots of photo reviews from their customers. For example, this one over here on the left has 672 reviews. So we can sort of look at this and understand that yes, they are probably making sales. And if we come into the print-on-demand supplier Shine On, which is the supplier that has these woven blankets here, you can see that there is definitely a bunch of profit to be made. They cost us as sellers just $24. They do have a couple of different variants of them, and honestly, some really amazing mock-ups as well. And you can see that if we cross-reference the price that this store is selling them at, the profit potential is truly massive. Even if you weren't selling it at the same price that they were, let's say that you tried it at $69, which is about half of what they're actually selling it for, at just a $20 cost to you, you are still making way more profit than if you were selling a shirt. And these blankets are definitely not like the only print-on-demand product that you can sell that makes you a decent profit margin. I have reviewed quite literally dozens of different print-on-demand items on my YouTube channel here, everything from various home decor items to even a lot of really unique and high quality apparel items as well. When I say don't sell shirts, I'm not saying that you can't sell apparel. There are tons of really amazing apparel items out there. If you'd like to see them more up close, you can check out some of the other videos on my channel. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that when you choose other products, you can make more profits in less time. You can still sell to the same niches, you're just doing something different with your product choice. This is something that personally I started doing a long time ago, and as soon as I started talking about it here on YouTube, I was met with honestly a decent amount of hate. There are usually people down in the comments of my videos that are upset, calling me stupid, acting like I'm pretending that shirts are bad so that way I can go sell them or something like that. And honestly, this is just what has worked for me. I've also taught this to a lot of people. People that have gone through my trainings about selling high profit items have made over $6 million in sales on their stores. I have sent mugs like what you're seeing on the screen right now to them as trophies when they hit different sales milestones. And again, what I'm just trying to share here on my channel is what I have seen work well for me as well as others with their print-on-demand stores. We are selling high profit items on Shopify using social media, but we can still sell in the best niches because we are choosing low competition products. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you wanted to learn more about how to do this, I do have a free course. It's called POD for Dummies. There's a link down in the description. And this is also something that a lot of print-on-demand suppliers are actually beginning to talk about. Check out this email here that I got the other day from Printify, basically spotlighting blankets as a massive earner for print-on-demand sellers in the year 2024, with even more potential in the year 2025. The fact is that print-on-demand is continuing to evolve. As I showed you before, more and more people are getting into print-on-demand. They're opening print-on-demand stores, and the most of them are selling shirts. It is becoming more saturated than ever. You cannot argue with that. If you are looking for the easiest way to break through some saturation, it is by choosing a lower competition product, not choosing a low competition niche so you can still sell shirts. Now, obviously too, if you are someone that wants to sell shirts, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not mad at t-shirts, and a lot of you would say that your goal is not necessarily to make all of your profit on the first sale. Some of you would say, well, Joe, like what I'm trying to do is hopefully get repeat customers where someone will buy one shirt from me today, but then maybe every couple of months they'll come back and buy another shirt from me. That's the business that I am trying to create. And if that's the case, like, that's totally fine. What I'm just saying to you though is I don't want to build a business where I am constantly having to chase people down to bring them back to the store in order to actually be profitable. I would rather just sell a high profit item and make a bunch of profit on the first sale. And honestly, a lot of the products that I'm talking about are not things that someone would only ever buy one of. I have sold lots of different types of items, and each one of them has the potential for someone to buy more than one over time, or even in the original order. It's also important to note that about 15% of customers are repeat shoppers. So if you made 100 sales on your t-shirts, you would expect about 15 of them to come back and buy again. I would imagine if you started to do some math on that, you might see that you are going to constantly be needing to chase thousands of people to make those repeat customers actually begin to add up. Another thing I would mention is returns when it comes to apparel. Returns are highest within the apparel space. You can see down here it says that apparel has the highest rate of returns, with 26% of clothing being returned. Essentially what I'm saying here is if you are building a business where the goal is to go and get people to come back to your online store and buy more shirts from you, you also have to consider which ones of those will actually want to return it. Now, I have videos here on my channel about minimizing returns. I talk about different return policies that you can have as well to sort of minimize your losses. But again, if you are saying to me that you want to build a business where if you sell one shirt and don't make a lot of profit, the hope would be to bring someone back to the store and make your profit on a repeat purchase. If that is your goal, it's important to note that you're probably going to see about 15% of the people coming back to your store to buy, and you're also going to potentially have some return requests. And if your goal is to increase long-term value, you're probably going to honor those requests. That way you don't have a whole bunch of unhappy customers. Essentially what I'm saying to you is if you just start looking at some of the other products out there, you will see that there are items that yes, people can buy more than one of and even come back in the future and make a second purchase. However, they are going to help you to escape the t-shirt trap. They are going to help you to make more profits in less time without as many customers, and all you're doing is changing the product that you are selling. You are still selling in whatever niche you want to sell in, but you're enjoying the benefits of these more unique, high profit and lower competition items. And all of this together today is essentially the t-shirt trap. The way that you escape the t-shirt trap is by choosing a product that makes sense for your niche, something that's complementary in some way, something that they can use to decorate a space where they actually do the niche could be an option as well. What we're talking about here is choosing a print-on-demand item amongst the 1,000 items that are available to us as print-on-demand sellers that could get someone a little bit more excited than just your typical t-shirt. The fact is that print-on-demand has been around forever. There are millions of people participating in this type of business, and t-shirts are getting sort of played out. You cannot really scroll through Facebook or Instagram or even Amazon or Etsy without seeing hundreds of different shirts all of the time that basically look the same. No wonder people are starting their print-on-demand store, they are selling shirts, and they have nothing to show for it. I have talked to tons of different print-on-demand sellers like I was talking about before, and I have seen more people struggle to sell shirts than any other product. My hope is that, like I said earlier, that you're watching this video, you're having a little bit of an open mind to this, and you're considering adding some other items to your store. I'm not saying that you can never sell shirts. I'm also not saying that you have to go through and delete every single t-shirt from your store. But what I am saying is that you should add a little bit more. You should try to create something else as the star product for your print-on-demand store rather than just a typical t-shirt. It's going to help you to stand out more, and you're going to make more profits in less time. Ultimately, that is what I'm trying to share here in this video today. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think I'm stupid, or do you think that a lot of this makes sense? Either way, let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.